just where the camera position was and moving around. Then I played around with this one. The problem with this one is I don't know if I like the design very much, but I think it's because I was too tunnel vision on this design, and then the instant you start shifting things too much, then it's like, what the hell's going on kind of thing. So I think it was okay. The only problem was he's too fucking big. So I made him a little bit smaller. I made him a little bit smaller. You can see his size is smaller, so he's not as like enormous. And that's basically where we're at. Now I'm literally just retargeting him to the Yui mannequin, just so we can at least have like a beginning character. And you can kind of see his height and everything over here. But just so we can at least have some sort of start on the character models. Would it be possible to use cable components for the arms and legs? I don't know about cable components, but I do plan on doing a bunch of physical animation stuff on this guy. So he's kind of goofy looking and whatnot. How about some cheeks? No, we're not giving him cheeks. Listen, we're not going to go that funny. Okay, live on YouTube. Now it's working. All right. We are in business, even though the stream started really late. I got to double check my email. Am I late or just early for tomorrow? A good way to copium all of this. Anyways, we're still pretty close to the ground. All things considered, we're still pretty close to the ground, but honestly, it's a start. At least we can get started on other things. He's like goofy enough that oh shit, hold on. He's goofy enough that it works for the thematic, you know, the way that the theme of the game works. You know, how he moves around and shit. Like, obviously we're not going to keep that, but you know, we'll leave it as is for now. And then it should be good enough to like mix into the game. It is a bit of a weird, it's a bit of a weird thing doing all of this because I have never made a character model like this before, you know, kind of like comedic, somewhat comedic character. He is still like huge. He's still pretty fucking big. I ain't gonna lie. He's a big dude. Or guy, or gal. So I don't know. We might make him even smaller. I don't know, but then it'll look really weird because then he's got all these like really long legs. I was thinking of turning him into like a little bit like an egg. But I don't know. I feel like I'm overanalyzing it a little bit. But yeah, you can see he's got like eyelids and he's got an underlid as well hidden underneath there. Or he should. Yeah, he does. We're kind of going for like a cartoony style where he's got these like black bits that are like no specularity or anything. So they're kind of just pitch black. Very thematic, I guess. Yeah. I don't know if I did this on stream. The throwing and stuff. I don't remember what the last thing we were doing on stream was. So we got throwing to kind of work. I added physics. I bought smooth sync. I don't know if I did that on stream. Did I do that on Saturday? I don't remember. Anyways. Yeah, we got this in. Only thing is, I tried to hide the fact that it's not perfectly timed. If you look at the UI when it disappears and when the thing actually gets thrown. When the thing gets thrown, we have to spawn an actor on the server. And of course, that causes a huge input delay. Which is really unfortunate. So I don't We're gonna have to find out how we end up fixing that. Maybe one idea is the client spawns their own physics object and then it slowly blends to the server version whenever that gets spawned in. And then kind of go from there. Yeah, another thing is like an animation, I guess, some sort of throwing animation. That could be the other thing. A little bit like a charge up kind of animation or something. Yeah, the Roblox kids are going to make one of those Twitter threads about how unoptimized your topology is. Listen, when someone makes a thread about how unoptimized topology is, that means the game is successful. So, someone makes a thread about my topology, that means that the game made big money. So I take it as a W. Am I using some plugins for rigging UE scale into your characters? I'm using AutoRig Pro. But, yeah. This is the character for now. At least, for the time being. I'm not like... Dude, I've been like... I looked at the, I might even rewatch it, because it's such a good video. There's a behind the scenes of them creating Repo. And, dude... What a bunch of smart, creative motherfuckers, man. What does our head look like when we turn? Ah, yes. So this is what it currently looks like when we look up and down. I don't know if I'll keep that. I kind of want his entire sphere to just move up and down, but there's something really funny about this as well, to an extent. Yeah, we'll probably change that. We'll probably change his entire skeleton, because he's using the UE skeleton, and honestly, we don't need the UE skeleton for this. So, yeah. How do I lay out the bones? It's a UE skeleton with, like, a modified spine. He, like, doesn't really have a spine. Which he doesn't really need one, so... But my only problem with this character model... Now, here's the thing. I gotta just see what it looks like in the environment. You know what I mean? I gotta see what this guy looks like in the environment. That's a big thing. Right? I can't be too tunnel visioned on what it looks like here in the scene because we've been playing around with the mannequin who's a lot taller and skinnier and whatever. But man, like in comparison to like other games like Repo and stuff like that, this is like he's a bit of a chubby guy. Sausage Man could have been the guy. We could still do Sausage Man. Sausage Guy could be the guy, you know, like we could still do Sausage Guy. Like I'm sure if I slapped his eyes and whatnot on Sausage Guy with his mouth and his arms and everything, I'm sure he'd look pretty good. But yeah. Toilet Guy, we got Toilet Guy. Modified version of normal guy, but Toilet Guy. Right next to him we got I don't know, Fish Stick. And then Punching Bag. Sausage is like Fall Guys, though. I don't know, man. When you start getting into like simplistic characters like this, you're gonna look like something else. You know what I mean? You're gonna look like something else. You know? I feel like there's no getting away from it because you're dealing with simple, primitive object sizes and whatnot. I was thinking of going for like cartoony eyes that are just 2D texture, similar to Peak. But then I was like, I kind of like the eyes bulging out because then people from the side can see where the eyes are looking. It's almost like a lizard. So I liked that. Then I thought, why don't we just not have a mouth or anything like that, kind of like Lethal Company. But I'm like, there's something about the character of like, I can't do what Repo did. You know what they did is fucking genius. Having literally a hinge on the back and their mouth goes doot, doot, doot. Like that's just so smart. I was thinking of doing some stuff and I kind of came up with some different fucking ideas for that. But yeah, but you know, you could see we got some shit that we could play around with here. We got some funny stuff that we can kind of mess around with. So that's fun. We got the eyebrows as well. and then the mouth will probably do some like blend shapes or something like that for like talking and shit. So that'd be the plan there. I think I crashed my blender. No, we're good. And then we got this that kind of encompasses the eye and blends into the body. So for now, honestly, I think it's good enough. It gives us enough space to like at least do some play testing, and then, you know, he looks funny enough. It's just he looks so big. That's my current problem. He's just so fucking big. He is a unit. He looks like a fucking unit. You know what I mean? He's a bit of a big dude. And I don't want to make him more smaller, because then, like, I don't know. I feel like if I make him too small, he's gonna look super weird with like the long ass legs and everything. Another idea was I could just turn him into an egg, but then it looks kind of weird. I don't know why. There's something about the perfect sphere. So, and of course we could always just go back. Like we could always fuck around with this guy right now. Like we could mess around. He's got his eyes there. What if we give him the real eyes, and the real mouth? Why do we have... Interesting. Even in non-edit mode, it was affecting it. That's good. We could do something like this. And then it becomes kind of like a sausage. You know, like there is that as a possibility. You know? Or we do all of them. That was another idea, but that's just too much scope. That's the only problem with that is that's way too much fucking scope. You know, that's just too much. I love the idea. But yeah. Can he be a bit bendy when moving? Of course, that's the plan. That's the plan. Uh-oh. I thought I duplicated it. Whoops. Let's copy that. Surely I have enough of an undo stack to just undo all of this, right? What? What the? Why are there duplicates? I'm confused. Why are there duplicates? All right, thank you, Blender. Good job. You're honestly kind of looking like Unreal right now, Blender. Like this is an idea that we could do, which is like use the cylinder guy. I just, dude, how short he is and stuff. It just kind of I think it's one of those things. It's gonna be a game of discovery and just fucking around with it until we get something that we like, that looks good enough, not too goofy, but also kind of, you know, there's an element of comedy, which I've never done before. I've never like made a game with an element of comedy. I was like, it's never something that I've done. Never done it before. Hold on. We're just gonna fuck around with this a little bit, see if we can come up with something fun. How about a cylinder facing forward, kind of how Thomas the Train's head is because of Train? I don't know if that would look very good. I'm sure we could probably come up with something, but I don't know if that would look very good. How did I do the body? Oh, I gave him an object color. Hmm. And it's not changing. Oh, that's because he somehow was duplicated. Should I know? Is there anything else I should know about Unreal? I mean Blender? Like, he doesn't look half bad either. Now that we added, like, the bits to him and shit. Oh, Mafia, good idea. You could invert the normals on the eyeball, give it an unlit, pure white shader, and float the people around it inside so that it fakes. I don't know if that would... yeah, I guess you could. We would have to, I guess, create the inside of the eye. Right? We'd have to create the inside of the eye. For now, we'll just leave it like that, but I do like that idea. That's a neat idea. One thing would be trying as much as possible to get this this island in a good spot. It's a bit of a challenge to get it floating how we want it to. I'm like changing all of these values and they're not doing anything. Is this shrink wrap doing anything? This shit ain't doing anything. What the fuck is going on? Oh, I didn't set a target. Man, I'm dumb. Don't mind me, I'm a bit stupid. No wonder this shit wasn't working. Steven? Sorkin? Who are these guys? So this was me kind of discovering different types of shapes for our friend slop game. This is our current version, which honestly we're probably just gonna roll with. I think we're just fucking around right now. This is our current version. My only problem is that he's big. He's a big guy. He's pretty big. He's a little too big, I'd say. He's a little big. So we're kind of just, something I'd like to figure out at some point is, like, what character model we're actually going to stick with, but, yeah, you know, I don't know. Did I, like, select the wrong thing? This is the cylinder, right? Cylinder 006. It's a shrink wrap. Okay, hold on. What the hell's going on? What's his scale? Oh, you know what? Was that the problem? Was the scale? I don't think so. Okay, that looks fine. Yeah, golden. Floating hands like Rayman. It's going to be more like cartoony, like black lines, basically. So how we have it in game is they have no specularity or anything like that. It's just like pitch black limbs. Originally, I was thinking like no limbs, and we might make it so it's just the legs, and then maybe the hands are floating. Like, we could always do that too. So that could always be an option as well. And right now, I'm just using really, really basic. This is the Yui mannequin hand, but I voxelized it and then decimated it and stuff like that. So, but I don't know. He's just too big. He's too wide. This guy, he looks goofy, and he kind of looks like, you know what he looks like? I just remembered. He looks a bit like, what's that? Sandbox. Sandbox character model. He looks like this fucker. If any of you have been keeping up with Sandbox, it definitely looks like this. He's kind of got the look. He's got a bit of the look. Oh my god. I'm telling you, man, when you make character models, like cartoony character models, they all look so similar to each other, and there's like no winning. Like, you can't do anything about it. You know? Like, you literally can't do anything about it. Where would this be? Up here? Down here? Let's do, like, middle body. Of course, though, we probably have to extend his arm. Like, we could probably make do without the arms, or like without the, we could probably make do without the arms, to be honest. We could probably just do something like that, but adding color to him and eyeballs and whatnot, like it's not, he doesn't look half bad, to be honest. The little the capsule guy doesn't look too bad either. We could do, there's so much customization options there too, you know, hats, shirts and shit if you want. We can give him clothing. I kind of prefer him because he's taller. But I do like the sphere as well. He's kind of funny. Yeah, I don't know. Convert him into a proper sausage. I love the silly round guys. They're funny. They're funny. I like the sphere. The only problem is the sphere just looks too fucking big. And making it work proportionally is kind of a challenge. Like, look how big of a unit this motherfucker is. You know? Look how big of a unit this motherfucker is. Guy all the way to the right is definitely a penis. What do you mean? What do you mean? Which one? Ever seen Sausage Party? Oh, God. Sausage Party, but as train conductors. Honestly, the capsule guy, the capsule guy's kind of growing on me. The capsule guy's kind of growing on me. And then his crouching position could be him turning into a sphere. Don't get me wrong. We could do both. Crouching could be him turning into a sphere. Going... just squishes into himself. Why not both? I'm leaning, I gotta say, I'm leaning towards the capsule for multiple reasons. One, I think he looks funny. He kind of still has the same effect of what he's like trying to portray. Two, he fits the art proportions a bit better. Like if we were to compare this to the mannequin, he's a lot closer to the mannequin than anything in here. But he's also not as thick as the other guy. No, I think that's just a good size. If we make him too big or too small, I feel like he's gonna look weird. You guys ever eaten those like tiny hot dogs before? They're like mini dogs or whatever. That's what this fucker looks like. You know, something doesn't look right. He looks like a fish. Like he just, it's like. Okay. Oh shit. Oh shit. Oh shit. Okay. Oh, sorry. Oh fuck. That's so funny. Oh god. Jim, did you fix the generator? Did you? Oh shit. Okay. No. It's good. It's good. Maybe. Wait, hold on. What if? Now he looks too tall. Something about him just. God, that's so fucking funny. There's something so funny about that. We could make his legs a little bit taller. He's got some stubby ass legs. I think that is part of the humor though, is the fact that he has stubby ass legs. Hold on. Honestly, not bad. That could be our guy. We could probably move his arms around a little bit, but honestly, this is our guy. I think this is our guy. This is our guy. That's our guy. Look like Dory from Finding Nemo, just keeps swishing, just keeps squishing. Oh my god. I think the thing that's really funny about these kind of character models is the amount of potential there is. You know, we could have the funniest monster that like claps you and crushes you and doesn't instantly kill you. It just turns you like this, and then your voice could be like really high pitched. Like, you know what I mean? Like we could do fun little things like that, like super goofy, you know. I had one idea for a monster that it's very much like a monster. It literally, the instant you wouldn't die instantly, it would instead crawl into your mouth. You would see like all this shit, and then other players would see you, a red thing glowing inside of you, and then you would like blow up after like 10 seconds. Or you would blow up if you get close to other players. Almost like you're turned into a time bomb or like a proximity bomb. That was an idea of mine. I don't know if that's psychotic or not, but hey. Yeah, I don't know. Can you give him big, luscious lips? Dude, I was thinking of doing modeled lips, but it seems like such a fucking pain to do. It seems like such a pain. And I tried like some different stuff. Like, we could use the eyelids as a base for lips. Like, we could. But there's something funny about like just a super basic, just flat black look. You know what I mean? Just flat black. We could do a bunch of blend shapes with this. We could do a bunch of goofy shit, like when he talks, blah 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 blah. Like his mouth moves, kind of similar to Peak. Yeah. Gotta find an 8K lips model. That's psychotic. I'm all for it, but it's psychotic. Maybe we don't give him any a thing for his hands. Okay, close enough. Welcome back, Rayman. They're all kind of just so good in their own way. But the only problem is the Sphere does have some design issues, and the capsule just definitely works a bit better. That being said, if we compare the two, the capsule is not too much different from a thickness standpoint, and that's like our current problem right now, is like he just looks so big. But maybe because he's a capsule and will be taller, maybe it'll just look more natural. I don't know. Let's just put the capsule in. Let's get him rigged real quick, throw him in. And then this also technically means that he has a spine. He has a spine. He doesn't have a neck. I don't know where the neck bones are going to go. I don't know. No clue where the neck bones are going to go. But yeah. Yeah. I wonder where's a good place to get some assets for post-apocalyptic setting. Oh, brother, Fab. There's so many things on there, man. So many things. Post-apocalyptic has to be like probably the most used, like most made thing in terms of like environment kit assets. Decagon has a lot of really good quality stuff. Yeah. So here's what I'm thinking. I do have should have a blend file for rigging this guy, and I can't find it. Thank you, Blender. Okay, attempt to rig. Let's make this a. Let's make a new attempt rig 2. I guess we'll just delete this. Where's the delete button? There it is. Yeah. Yeah, Decagon has a bunch of high quality stuff. Not necessarily post-apocalyptic, but they do have some stuff that like could easily come across as post-apocalyptic, but extremely high quality. Hey, Ripper Junkie, how's it going? This needs to be set to body. This is set to body. Whatever, do body 02. Sure, body 02. I love when you copy paste. Blender doesn't reuse a material index. It instead just creates an entirely new one and then calls it 003. Deco Garden? No, Decagon. So Dekogon. They have a bunch of assets on the marketplace that I would say is probably some of the like highest quality ones that you'll probably find on the marketplace. I'm a little annoyed that they're doing this shit where it's like everything is like separated. Like, look, they get like junk cars in here, perfect for a post-apocalyptic use, you know? That's new. I didn't even see that. Like, this was released 5 days ago. There's a bunch of other stuff in here, like food service stuff, some lighting stuff. I wouldn't get these singular assets. That's a waste of money. I wish you could filter these out, to be honest. But I don't think you can. But they have a bunch of like pack stuff. They're really, really well made. Now, that being said, don't get it twisted. You would still have to optimize marketplace assets. No matter which marketplace asset you buy, you're going to have to optimize it because they're going to be using their own tileable textures and all this kind of stuff. And there's going to be a point in time where you mix marketplace assets together and you're just going to have to optimize it. It's just a given. It's part of it. Like, it's just part of purchasing any asset is having to optimize it. But they got a bunch of vehicle packs and stuff like that. Yeah, really high quality stuff. And as far as I know, they do both nanite and low poly. So they give you a folder called LP and then a folder with an N. Yeah, nanite and low poly versions, which is really nice. And hopefully they continue doing that. Hopefully they continue doing that because I think that is actually super sick. You got some marketplace assets now that are literally just nanite and it's basically useless. It's essentially useless unless you want to use the fallback asset. And the fallback asset looks like shit because it's like LOD 5. So, yeah. This is a pack that I haven't seen. This looks fucking sick. That looks sick. And the interior's done and everything too. That's fucking crazy. That's crazy, man. That's crazy. They got a whole... Hey... Just do what all the indie devs are doing. Use literally one building for your entire video game. You got a video game right here. Horror Post Office. Oh, God. Are nano assets just high poly assets? If you use a high poly workflow, it's not extra work really, or is there more to it? I don't know. I don't know the nanite workflow necessarily. I read up on it, but I still don't fully know what the workflow actually entails. So... yeah. Are you working on a new concept? I am working on a new game. I am working on one. We were working on a different game before this. But I was not feeling it very much. I was not feeling it. So now I'm working on a friend slop game. I know. I don't think his legs are mirrored. Maybe a little bit of asymmetry is actually just what we want, though. Am I referring to the game where you throw blades at AI and shit? Yes, although that got turned into using a bow and stuff. Anyways, I'm cool with this as our base. Let's go ahead and apply all these mirrors. Otherwise, a bunch of things are going to break. So just playing it safe. Solidify, apply. Apply the shrink wrap, apply that. Okay, and then let's get a quick like rig on this guy. Neck. I guess right here, this would be the neck. I suppose. Chin. Well, I guess that's the chin. Shoulders. I really don't know how to do this because this is like, doesn't really have a neck or any of that. You know what I mean? It doesn't really have any of that. Yeah. Yeah, UE4 mannequin or UE5 mannequin? I'm just gonna go UE4. I guess fuck it, we'll just go UE. Yeah, I'm just gonna go UE4. That's a Tic Tac. Yeah, I'm fucking around with a capsule instead. Okay, this is really annoying. How do I just select? There we go. I understand why this is fucked up. The decimation on this hand was not done very well. Have I tried the Unreal Engine forums? Yeah, we had Sphere Guy. Sphere Guy just looks too big. He looks fun. He looks like a fun character model. Don't get me wrong. He's a fun little character model. He just seems so like huge, man. He just seems so huge. So I think we're gonna play around with the capsule a little bit, see if the capsule might work. Like, he still looks fun, you know what I mean? And that's exactly what we want. We want a guy that you want a character that looks fun. So yeah. We had so many different variants. Let me I can open up the page. So here's our different variants. This variant, while he looks very funny, and I love the look of him and how he's got the stubby legs and everything, he's too short. The camera was super close to the ground. It was extremely nauseating. Then I tried making him taller. The thing is, his body's too big now. It just kind of looks really off. I tried making him a bit smaller, which should be the current version that we have in game right now, I believe. Should be. He still looks too big. So, yeah. Yeah. The short arms might be tough to animate. I'm not going to keep it this short. I think if anything, we're going to do a lot of like stretching and whatnot, and this is probably going to change. One of the ideas was actually just removing the just for the arms, keeping it like this. It honestly does not look half bad. You still get like the character. If anything, it just looks kind of funny. He's just a sausage with two legs, you know. So it's going to be a pretty good one. Bit of an awkward character to work with the ball one. Yeah, it's just from a camera standpoint, it just gets really weird. The crouch animation should be the sphere and you roll around. That was something we were talking about. We could do both. We do the capsule as the standing, and then when you crouch down, we just turn into a fucking ball. Yeah. So we got some options. Recommend a pack or site which explains save, load, and respawn such checkpoint functionality. I don't know where I should store items. Should be persistent, not lost in death. Think of inserting into player state. I would just search on YouTube. Just search up a save file system workflow. The reality of it is that you're just gonna have to figure out like what works best for your use case. You know what I mean? Like, I am a little worried about doing this because I've been doing this for all of our character models, but I like all of our little prototype concepts, moving the spine bones around, but I don't know if it's gonna fuck anything. It doesn't matter for now. This is literally just a placeholder model. So, yeah. I made a simplified Among Us. Dude, all of these character models are going to look similar. Cartoony characters are just simplified primitives. You know what I mean? Like what do you want from me? You know what I mean? Like, what do you want from me? What do you want from me? What's the idea for this multiplayer game? You and your friends have to keep a train going while also surviving from monsters and environmental hazards. So you got things like repairing things in the train. Various other stuff could pop up as well. One problem that I'm having with the design, the game design, I was watching a video of Repo, like they're behind the scenes, and they brought up a really good point, which is that the design of their original concept for their game, like the cleaning idea. Oh, that would make sense. Didn't have too much in the way of like working together as a team. The current design that I have in mind does have that flaw currently, where there is a little lack of working together as a team in some sense. So I'm a little worried about that. And I would like to maybe figure out ways of like solving that. I don't know, we'll see. Fucking shit, man. Oh my god. Oh my god. Oh my god. Okay, you know what? Maybe capsule was the way to go. Maybe the capsule was the way to go. Was this UE4 Legacy or not? I don't remember. I think it was. Could have it layered like partial teams on the ship where they're split apart. The idea is you'd probably, so like I'm kind of picturing what would be the play style. Like you'd probably have one player who's at the front of the engine or the front like cabin, the main, the shaft. We'll call it the shaft. We'll call it the tip. You got a guy at the tip. You know, he's gonna see all the interfaces. They show like where errors start popping up on the train, very like very analog. And then maybe they have like a microphone that allows them to talk to the entire train. Right? So I would think this is like the spot where most players would come back to, because there'd be a storage place. You'd have the furnace to like keep the engine going, keep the train going. The only problem is like when there's something that needs to be repaired on the train, it's almost like one player would go and do it, or maybe two players. Like we could have things where it's like if there's more than two players in the game or more than three, we could have some little mini game spots that require multiple people to repair it. That could be one way of like introducing teamwork. But the current design in my head, that is one flaw where it's like a lot of it is kind of like you go out on your own real quick and do your thing. Whereas repo is like you have one container, everybody kind of works together, bring shit into specific drop points. So there is a little bit of like, I would like to somehow include some like teamwork elements into the game, if possible. So that's something I've been thinking about. Yeah. Reminds me of the Sandbox character. Yeah, I know, like the fucking sausage thing. You gotta include a lot of your own humor. I might voice act a couple monsters. We'll see. I don't know. Yeah, we'll see. Maybe certain events will give a debuff to a player when they do it. That requires a different person to swap out if it happens again. But then the problem is we're still... That still then makes it so everything is kind of solo. You know what I mean? We still kind of go back to the same problem. If someone needs to get swapped out because they get debuffed, then that means someone else has to do it on their own. And then we're still kind of in the problem where it's like everyone is kind of independent in some way. Which becomes problematic. So, how much time do I plan on spending on this game, roughly? I don't know, man. I don't know. Hopefully less than a year. I'm kind of, I might talk with my accountant and be like, how much time do I have? I might be like, maybe I wait until like the next fiscal year. Whenever my next fiscal year is, that's when we'll release. I think that might be a good goal to work towards. If it's just fetch tasks, the only way is to pass items through levels, but that adds another game element to work. So the idea is like, so we had our thing here where it's like some items, we put them in gray, could be items that you require to fix things. And we would just have like a toolbox in the tip of the train that has like, you know, you could take out whatever the fuck you want. You could take however many as you want. So like a screwdriver, hammer, could be like things that you need to repair certain things. And they'd be like mini games. So it's like, it wouldn't be like an instant thing or there wouldn't be a progress bar. I'm thinking it would be like, you would actually like repair the thing through like a kind of like an Among Us mini game almost. And that way it takes a little bit of time to do. If there's a monster coming by, or maybe you make noise, or maybe there's a fail state somehow where it's like you can fuck it up. Similar to Dead by Daylight has that thing where if you fuck up some sort of thing, it makes a really loud noise. That could be something we could do here, right? Yeah. So yeah. I would not want like unique character stuff. Like I want every person to be kind of the same, you know? They just choose what they want to do. You could have people that are just like fetching items in the train to try to fuel the engine. You could have some people focusing on like repairing certain parts of the engine to keep the train going at optimal speed, you know, stuff like that. I don't know. These are all like ideas at the end of the day. We don't even have any of these elements in yet. Don't even have any of this shit in yet. But I am focusing a little bit on the art because I read something that's honestly so true. It was Reddit. I was focusing so much on gameplay mechanics, but basically the gist of it was if your art looks like ass, but your gameplay mechanics are great, no one's going to buy the game. But if your art looks great and the mechanics are somewhat okay, then people will still have a chance of picking it up. And honestly, I think it's a good idea that I start doing some of the art. Either way, I think it's getting to a good point where I should be doing some of the art anyways, especially when it's like kind of horror, atmospheric, kind of goofy. Like I feel like those all depend on art and sound. So I feel like we need to kind of start throwing in some shit in here, you know what I mean? So that's why I'm kind of doing some art right now. I'm sure many people are, oh, well, maybe you should do something else. I don't know. What camera POV is first person. First person. Yeah, the idle like weapon stuff does not look very good, but why does it kind of look scaled down? Sounds like a really solid game. The idea is there. The idea and the concept is strong. I think the rest of it is just the execution. So we're gonna have to find out. We're gonna have to find out. Okay, this will be our. I think we're gonna be fine from here from here on out. This will be our. It's just so weird. The auto-generate retargeter just does a better job, and it's so funny because the retargeter is just doing the auto stuff. So what is different? It's just so odd. I don't know. Anyways, export this, put it in this folder, tempman, export. Exporto. We have a neck 02. Let's just do neck 01. Might even do head. We got a control rig in here. Honestly, I don't care too much about control rig. Not a huge fucking deal. We can unhook that. And then let's hook it up into our character. And let's see how good of a version this is. Much taller. Much taller. Well, not by much. It's because he was scaled up. Refreshing people games have constantly been banging for these styles. Yeah. I do gotta say though, those games are I am constantly intimidated by those games as a developer, because it's like the people that come up with those games are just so like creative. They have such like good humor. You know what I mean? Like it's such a it's interesting. I don't know why he's leaning forward so much, but whatever. As long as we can just get this like a base started. They're just so like Repo is such a like seeing the things they've been doing, the trailer. They have a trailer that has like almost so minimal CGI, and they did all this stuff, and I'm like, dude, that's so fucking cool. That's so cool. It's so cool, man. Yeah, truly on another level. Truly. Like, they're doing some really awesome stuff, I gotta say. What is this fucking material setup? They're doing some really, really cool stuff. So when I see those games and I'm like technically kind of competing with them in some respect, I'm like, holy shit, dude. They're doing some awesome stuff. It's fucking crazy. Part of me is like, I don't know if I could get on that level. Like they're just okay, this is our guy, I think. This is our guy. This okay, you know what? I think this is our guy. This is our guy for now. I think this is our guy for now. Yeah, we're gonna obviously do like all of the eye movement and physical animation stuff, some little physics stuff. Yeah. Oh yeah, long drive. And he said no to cheeks for the sphere, but what about the capsule? We should have a thing where like rarely if like a character gets scared, you could see their cheeks are just fucking squished together. You know what I mean? That would be so funny. You just randomly, you look at your friend and you're like, dude, well, you got butt cheeks. And it's just art style level. Yeah, I think this game is going to lean a lot more in the direction of like peak, because there's going to be, I guess, more gameplay mechanical stuff, but I do want to be careful to not go too over the top of the gameplay mechanic stuff, which is why we kind of stayed away from an inventory and instead doing just slots, like a slot bar. It was an idea, a question was like, okay, do we do an inventory? But then I was like, oh, let's just do like, you just have a slot bar that you manage, and that's it. Even the like hitting tab to move this shit around is like kind of unnecessary, but I did it anyways. We'll kind of see how it feels to manage the slots. But yeah, not having to deal with an inventory is a lot better. So yeah. Okay, hold on. What if we try the head instead of the neck? Curious. Oh yeah, I like the head. I like the head. You know what? I think the capsule's the way to go. He fits the size a little better. When we make him crouch, we can make him go like squish. I don't have any crouching animations yet, so But I do need to put a crouch mechanic in. The thing is, I'm probably going to swap the character model for the GMC V2. So I don't want to do any like movement mechanic stuff because he's probably going to end up being eradicated. So, yeah. I'm tempted to try one myself, to be honest, but it's hard to determine that one mechanic. I don't know, man. We'll see. For all we know, I haven't even tried the train shit, like repairing the train and shit like that. For all I know, this shit might not even fucking work. I don't know. It's just a matter of trying it out. Yeah, one problem is with dropping, we depend on waiting on the server to drop it. I watched that Halo video again at GDC where they talk about what they did for throwing a grenade. They did a process where they throw the animation, the instant that they throw the animation, they prepare the grenade, and then when the grenade throws, they just depend on the server, and because it kind of happens off screen and whatnot, players don't notice it, whereas in this sense, it's a bit harder to kind of do that because it's kind of right in your face. Anyways, I don't want to get too far into shit like that right now because we have other things we need to do. The other thing I wanted to get started on from an art standpoint is the trains themselves. I have adjusted some of the sizes of the trains. You can see that they're much larger now. This is the original size. This is the new sizes. And I'm also going to play around with thicknesses because I want to make it so you can crawl into vents on the train. I think that'd be sick. One problem I have that I thought about is if we do a vent that you can crawl inside of, the thickness of the windows are going to look ridiculous. The thickness of the windows are going to look a little ridiculous, but fuck it, you know, we'll figure it out. You know, screw it. Yeah. All game devs are cooked because Half-Life 3 is coming out, obviously. Gamers, when they have an opinion. I bet you there's some people that think that way. They're like, when Half-Life 3 comes out, the game industry will never be the same. It's not going to be the same. It's all going to be broken. I'm making shit up. Also, the side catwalks are a little tight, but maybe we want it to be tight. I don't know. We'll see. The player might go outside. At times, they might find themselves going on the outer catwalks and whatnot. Maybe they're trying to avoid a monster or something else. As long as there's no outside environment hazard to them, like acid rain or the chance of them freezing to death, then they could probably walk on the outside of the train if they wanted to. If there's a catwalk. So the entire train is randomly generated. The types of trains from cabin to cabin would be randomly generated. And whatnot. I kind of want the train to look big, you know, kind of Snowpiercer-esque. I want the train to almost overwhelm you in some ways, and then feel like a big play space, kind of like Alien Isolation-esque. Kind of feel claustrophobic, but also big as well. I think would be really interesting. That way, each cabin is almost like a different play space. So from the outside, they're the same size, like the tent in Harry Potter, for example. I have no idea how we would go about faking that. I have no idea how to go about faking that. What if your guy can deform for different things, like stretching out to get smaller for a smaller event video? I was thinking about that. We could have it so the crouch is kind of dynamic. I know, I think Repo does that, technically. Repo, they have a crouch state, but then they have a crawling state. And the crawling state, I believe, is based off of what object is above you. I think. The way the mesh doesn't self intersect when you look around, is that down to Unreal doing magical things? Like when we look down? That is just the way that we skinned the character, I guess. Or how it auto-skinned it. You know what he looks like? What's that? Which show is this from? Fucking Rick and Morty? Is it Rick and Morty that has like the sock? Like a sock? Like a blue sock? Which show is it that has a blue sock? And he does drugs. Does anybody know what I'm talking about? Someone tell me they know what I'm talking about. Oh, is that South Park? What is that? What is he called? South Park Blue Sock? His name is literally Bluey. Wait, no, not Bluey. Blue? Oh, towel. He's a towel, not a sock. Towel-y. Oh my god, he's got that vibe. He's got a bit of that vibe. Oh, he's got a bit of that vibe. Hold on. Am I using SmoothSync? Yes, I went ahead and bought SmoothSync. I also bought GMC V2, the fucking fancy movement component. I have not swapped over to that movement component yet. I probably won't for a while. But yeah. Okay, I think we're good on the character models. Let's just get started on the train now. Get started on the look of the train. Let's export these new scales. Exporting should be still the same process. We're gonna have to change up the size of the train. So now we're just trying to figure out the size. Friend slop heist game? No, I wouldn't say this is like a heist. I'm picturing like the player characters are like, they're on a job to just manage the train, and like they're just put on a really weird fucking train. This train's a bit weird. It's a bit of a weird train. And that's kind of how I'm picturing this thing. Oh, you're making a heist game? Okay. Can I select 2 sockets, please? Holy shit, I can. Oh my god. Thank you, Unreal. You actually made it so I can select 2 sockets at once. Pretty sure that wasn't possible before. I swear that was a feature I always wanted. Or maybe I'm going crazy. I'm asking if you think it's a good idea. A friend slop heist game? Brother, I don't know, man. Anything is a good idea. When you really think about it, it's just the execution. What if you made the roofs of the cabin a separate model and there could be a monster, giant monster that randomly takes off a roof? Something I thought of is, you know, it doesn't, not necessarily everything has to be monster based. It could definitely be elements of like something that's just an elemental factor, you know, like there could be a cabin that just got corrupted by like sludge. You know, it doesn't necessarily have to be a monster. So we could always have an idea of like, this train, for some reason, the fucking ceiling is off the roof. Okay, I need to see 1750 is incorrect for the size, and I believe we take the width of this was 2400. I think we're gonna probably do, I don't know, 2550. Too much. 2525. Okay. Uh-oh. Uh-oh. Ah, all of the origins are incorrect. No wonder. Which is weird. Okay, let's re-export these. Great, that means all of our sockets are gonna fucking go all over the place. Shit. Is this a zombie game? Yeah. Yeah. Zombie game. Yeah, this is the one. Part of me is thinking maybe I should stop being stupid and maybe I should make these sockets inside of Blender. So I don't have to keep doing this over and over and over again. I really should, because we're gonna be doing this a lot, I think, with all of our iterating. Hey, wake up, the cabinet's full of sludge again. Yeah, like I think it could be there's some fun ideas there. There's a lot of avenues for, I think the thing I really like about this game is there's a lot of avenues for like additional content. There's a lot of different little things we could do. Each train cabin can honestly be like its own little realm of like theme stuff that we can do. You know what I mean? Like, it could be different monsters, there could be different items, little upgrades if we want to do upgrades. Something I thought of is we could potentially have train upgrades where you could like upgrade the train's hardware and stuff like that. That could be a really cool thing where it's like, instead of only seeing the error in train, like, so how we would do it is like there'd be an analog UI that shows like each train, and then it would show like when an error pops up. But the idea right now is like it would only show an error. It would not show exactly where it is. So an upgrade could be like showing exactly where it is if you wanted to. Because I'm thinking the overall loop would be like a player would have to enter a cabin and figure out where the error is. There'd be some sort of like visual cue or some sort of sound cue, obviously, like sparks coming out, or, you know, if it's electrical and there's no light in the train cabin, maybe it's like something else, you know what I mean? Like stuff like that. But that's kind of like some of the stuff I'm thinking about. I think what I might do is, one problem I have right now, I'm kind of thinking ahead, I guess. I'm always thinking ahead. Who's fucking kidding? I was thinking about, do we leave lights on in the train or do we have no lights? Like, or do we make it so there's no lights by default, but you can turn on a light, but by turning on a light, you use up more energy in the train, which is not good. So that's another idea. So if you leave a bunch of lights on, let's say you're playing with a friend who's a fucking scaredy cat, they just keep turning on a bunch of lights in the train, that like eats up the energy, and you can like see where energy is being soaked in from, and that would slow down the train. I love Repo's eyeball logic. What do you think about it? It's, dude, one of the big reasons as to why I did these eyeballs is because I just love the way Repo does eyes. So it's 100% something I'm going to be doing a lot more of. Orca? What is this now? It's a friend slop game. Sloppy friend game. Where you and your friends keep a train going. You don't want the player to be able to fall. We could have some trains do that, but I think for testing purposes, I don't want to have any like fall pits right now. Okay. The size of the train feels pretty good. Especially at the speed we're going at. Honestly, I think we could change the default speed and make it even a little bit slower, because we probably will have sprinting. It's just in this current version we don't have sprinting because I'm probably going to use GMC for that, and GMC I believe has a replicated prediction stuff for that already, so ideally we probably switch over to that soon. Still using Gaz? Right now I haven't started using Gaz in this project. We probably will at some point or another. I haven't even been doing that much C++ yet either. So yeah. I decided to start doing voiceover, and they immediately decided it's tree chopping time. Am I still enjoying multiplayer? It's an interesting, it's a different way of approaching game development. I think there's a lot more trickery involved, I'd say. There's a lot more trickery involved. Well, we just fell through, so I guess it's still possible. No sprinting? We'll have sprinting. I just don't want to implement it right now because then I got to put in a fucking client prediction version, which sucks balls. But I'd say the biggest thing with multiplayer, it feels so satisfying working a full week on like a bunch of new shit. And then you're like, hey, you know, to a bunch of friends, do you mind helping me test this? And then we all get into a lobby and you're testing stuff that you worked on. I think there's something really impactful, at least for me, because I've always been into multiplayer and that's always been something I wanted to do, of being able to test stuff in a multiplayer scenario. Obviously, there's a lot more things that could go wrong, but I think it's something really fun about doing stuff in a multiplayer scenario. If I were to put sprint in, how would you do sprint for multiplayer? Set to sprinting locally and then set on the server, but then would the server correct the player's movement while we're sprinting? Honestly, I'm kind of thinking we just don't waste time on this right now because GMC is going to cover that for us. When it breaks, does it suck to debug? Yeah, I'm sure if this was like a really serious game, it's probably gonna rub off way, like, it'd probably be way worse. But since there's kind of a goofy underlying co-op element to it, it's okay as long as nobody crashes or has like game-breaking issues or whatever. That'll probably be like the biggest thing, I think. And we can already see one instance of like client fuckery going on, literally just dropping an item because we have to spawn the actor there's a slight delay depending on what kind of latency you have. So it's like this is one of those moments where you're solving a multiplayer problem, which is coming up with a client-side version of the physics and then matching it with the server side somehow. It's gonna be an interesting challenge. I don't know how we're gonna do that. Oh yeah, for some reason I can infinitely drop for some reason. I find it very rewarding though. It's a good technical challenge as well, doing multiplayer. But now we're gonna do a bit of art because I do think it's good to do some art, especially for a game of this theme. Even if it's just a basic, just getting the basic train going. Okay, all right, okay. Okay, all right, fix the gap, okay. Jeez. All right, I like this size. Now let's try fucking around with the thickness of the wall so we can get some like vents in here so then the players can run through the vents, which means I need to put a crouch state in, and I don't have a crouch state. So is crouching replicated? We're gonna find out. Is crouching replicated? We are gonna find out. I want to say because it's built in. It probably is replicated. Request is processed, and the next update the character movement component. Yeah. That to me sounds like it is replicated already. Now, the only thing it's going to do is change our capsule, and then we're going to end up in the floor. Wait. We should be in the floor right now. Is crouching not replicated? Maybe it is, but we don't see the character. No, the character should be moving up and down with, where is crouched? Where is crouch state? We should be seeing a crouch half height somewhere in here. Crouched half height is 40 centimeters. What is our default? We're at 82. Dude, yeah, that's half. Oh, yeah. Let's show the capsule component. Good idea. Let's see. Visible. We should now see the capsule. Yeah. It is. It's just for some reason, oh, I guess. Well, I got an idea. Guys, I got an idea. Hold on. Hold on, I know what to do. I know what to do. I know what to do. Hold on. Where's my skeletal mesh pivot? It is at the bottom. So I think that's why this is fine. Is because it is at the bottom. That's probably why. So we're gonna do character. Is crouched. Well, pelvis. And then ignore rotation and then scale. Okay. Pretty sure we can turn the alpha into Boolean. Okay. All right. Don't even know what this looks like. Yeah. Yep. It's like he got sucked like out of a straw. Okay. All right. Apparently, it is not the Z value, which you would think. You would think. What? None of this makes sense. Why is it the X? All right. Our temporary crouch pose. Here we go. Yeah, I guess I should have expected that. What if you and spine? I should have done it in world space. Maybe that's why the maybe that's why it's in component space. All right. Okay. All right. Hold on. All right. Hold on. Yeah. Hold on. Cut that. Cut the blue wire. Why isn't it working? Oh, there we go. Am I really gonna have to move his body down? I haven't been reading YouTube chat. YouTube chat, how are you doing? Sorry. It's a beautiful player model. He's probably gonna get a lot of changes, but he looks fun, and that's what matters, you know? Dude, that doesn't make sense. That's not the world space. Oh, come on. Cock. That's bullshit. That's literally the Z. It doesn't make sense. It doesn't make sense. That would be world space. All right, fine. I don't know why his the rest of his body is like kind of shrinking. I I don't know why. He's kind of turning into like a bar of soap, and his arms have just... Actually, what if we just scale the root? I feel like this shit's not updating. You guys know what I mean? Like, this is the root. Like, I don't understand. Oh, whatever. Okay, let's just we're getting too far into this. Okay, listen. I just want this to Oh, you know what? Maybe it's also modifying any of the children bones. Shit. Yeah, I think that's what it's doing. I could make a pose for this, but I feel like it's that's too deep, you know? We don't need to go that deep. Let's just make him look fucking silly, you know? It's okay. All right. Yeah. Yeah, let's play around with that a little bit. You know, let's play around with that. Yeah, that's the, yeah. Yeah, that'll work. Song? The song is The Director by Jasper Byrne? Okay, maybe the maybe the crouch height's too small. It's a pretty small crouch height. Yeah. Let's do 50 centimeters because our current capsule is 82. That's it. That's the one. All right, this will work. His legs aren't really bending down, but that's okay. You know, we just need this. We just need this to work for our purposes. You know, this. We just need this. We just need the word. Yeah. Can you prevent the eyes from resizing? We'll get that out of the way when we actually start doing all that stuff. For now, this is just so we can start testing out a vent, like air ducts, because we could spend hours trying to get the crouch to look good. You know what I mean? We could spend hours on that bad boy. You know what I mean? We could spend hours on that bad boy. We need blinking and shit. You know, we'll get that. We'll get that out. We'll get that out of the way. What we need to do is the air ducts. We need to get these air ducts going. So while we do have our beautiful character model right here, this is not actually the size of our character model. So I need to go ahead and import temp character, who is rigged, and I don't really need his rig. So this is very good. We've got our guy. He's, I think, scaled up by 100. This is our real size reference. I think this is our guy. Okay, this is our guy. Okay, now, I don't have a reference for when he crouches, so we'll just kind of have to eyeball this. God. Manny guy is gone. Manny guy is gone. Why does he have such high specularity? like his arms. Why are his arms so specular? What the? Why is it? Why is he so specular? Whatever. Who cares? Can't you just duplicate that guy and scale him down by... Let me actually see what would be the ratio. I don't think it's half. So capsule half height is 83. And then the crouch height is 50. I believe. 83 to 50. 83 to 50 would be very close to half. We're looking at around 0.6. Something like 0.6. So this is okay. This is our crouching. This is our crouch height. This is my son, Billy. Okay, so this is our crouch height. Okay, so let's go ahead and see how big of an air duct would we need if we wanted to put air ducts in the level. Now, the idea of the air ducts is we could have repair jobs in the air ducts. We could have it also being a hiding spot from enemies. But we could also have an enemy that specifically only crawls in the air ducts as well. Yeah. So here's my problem with making air ducts. It makes the wall really fucking thick, right? It makes the wall really thick. So if we wanted to, for example, start putting in a window, it'd be a really thick window, which is my worry. So how do we solve that? Is there any way of solving that? I feel like there's no way of solving that. Air vents don't need to be in the walls, though. They technically don't. We could put them in the floor or in the ceiling, but like I'd rather them in the wall so then the players can like go in and interact with it. That being said, we don't need it to be like this thick. So let's go ahead and come up with like a size reference for this. Maybe have the air ducts in the floor instead of the walls. We could have them in the floors. Yeah. What if you keep the player around to a separate air vent instead of actually placing them physically there? That gets into a world of chaos because of AI navigation and all that kind of stuff becomes quite chaotic. So I don't know if I want to do that. Yeah. Which is why I'm leaning towards it being the wall instead. Let's see. We don't need like a big air duct maze and shit like that. You know what I mean? Like, yeah. What's this? Listen, I know what real life is like. I'm not trying to recreate real life because real life is boring. It's not going to help us for a video game. The train's already enormous. We're making it huge. It's almost like Snowpiercer-esque. It can kind of go outside of the bounds of reality in many ways. So, let me get a cube and let me size it to our guy's size here. You could make the players crawl in the vent instead of crouch walk. It is an idea. We could go very repo-esque and make it so you kind of start crawling. We can make them smaller. We could. Like we definitely could. Like this would be the actual size of the vent because this is our character size. We could definitely like make them smaller. Like we could do this. We could play around with that. Like that could be something we could play around with. And this would turn him into a sphere. So I think we would probably make his half height actually a lot smaller, I think. Okay, so let's make this a cube. The longer side would be this. And this would be the actual, this would be the size of the vent. So that means our wall is like fucking enormous. We don't need this big of a wall, which is great because now we can actually make this feel a lot better. Like realistically, this is how much space we would need probably just to not cause any issues and still have enough space for any like other additional stuff in the vent if we want to. And then I guess a little bit of space in the front to go outward. So something like this. This could be the vent, which means we could definitely line this up like right here, which means our wall thickness could be something like this. And that right there could be the play space necessary for the vent. Very cool. Very, very cool. So let's delete these inside faces and invert the normals. And then we need to make an opening for this so then we can at least start like testing out the vent. Let's move it a little bit lower and kind of go from there. And then we can do something like this real quick. Bridge. We got ourselves a little testing space. And then we can duplicate that, separate it real quick. Does mean, however, I don't think we'd be able to randomly generate the vents. You know what I mean? I don't think we'd be able to randomly generate them. I think this would be a part of each like cabin and they would be kind of like there, which kind of sucks. But it is what it is. I'm just going to do this just because a lot of this is play space stuff right now and I don't know how this is going to look from an art standpoint. Let's actually do this properly real quick. Yeah, no, not all trains would have vents. Some of these trains are just going to straight up not have a vent, right? So like that's the beauty of the train idea is like we can do so many fun things because we can make it so certain trains don't have certain mechanics associated with them. All that kind of stuff, which I think is very cool. It's a very cool idea. Certain train cabins have like a different repair job associated. If we really want to, someone mentioned this idea one time. We could make it so certain trains have a bathroom and you gotta fucking like, you know, fix a toilet that got clogged. Now, I have no idea what that would mean for the train's performance, but I guess having a flooded toilet on a train is not necessarily the best. This thickness is not bad. Honestly, this thickness is not bad, because if we wanted to have a window, let's say we make this one of our windows, right? We could have a window like this. It could extrude in. Oh, great. Okay, we could have it so it's kind of like this, I guess, which kind of leans into the Snowpiercer-esque kind of vibe anyways. Where it could be like extruded outward or whatever. I don't know why it's not selecting the edge loop. Oh, because there's a face, of course. And then we could have the window here. I don't know. We could a lot of like space to mess around with. We haven't even done any ceiling stuff yet, so that could obviously change. Yeah. Let's export this bad boy real quick. We are also going to have to, I think they're already using complex collision. We're using complex collision as a starting point. This is cabin 2. Now cabin 2 has some vents. It's got a window to test. Great. Okay. So I don't think we'll be able to crawl into that cabin. I gotta turn off the capsule. The reasoning is, well, I don't think it's large enough. Yeah. So what did we set this height to? It's a much smaller height, is it not? We would need some sort of like dynamic system that changes your height based off of like where you are, but let's just say fuck it, and we're gonna do 40, let's try 40 centimeters again. Let me also turn this back to hidden in game. And for the purposes of this, I don't want to figure out when this thing spawns in, so let me just slap it right here. Okay. Still pretty tiny. Oh, I can't eject in this. Okay, let's just do a solo character. We don't need it like this. Oh, it's just slightly too small. Would it be weird if a vent, instead of it being a square, it's like slightly taller? I guess that would look kind of weird, huh? Okay, let's just make our crouch height really small then, because that would probably be our crawling height anyways. We'd probably make a really, really small crawling height. Let's try like 35 centimeters. Let's see if we can fit in there. Okay, the eyes are not in the right spot. I will say one thing. It's tight. It's a tight vent. You got no space to move around. Like, this shit's tight. Like, there's no moving around at all. Okay. And then there is a crouch half height eyes. It's going to make it smaller. It needs to be even smaller, supposedly. Is this not... Does this change anything? Is this even doing anything? I can't fucking tell. I think this is doing jack shit. This doesn't do anything. The eye height is not doing anything. I don't even know how to make that use the eye height, actually. Because that's the problem. It's not even using the eye height. Yeah, I actually removed it, Worka, from the head because it was a little nauseating. Well, it's not too nauseating, at least with like this one. Like I could throw it back on it and then just scale the socket down even further. One thing is that this is no longer following our new size. As you can see. Yeah, the problem is this crouched eye height is not correct. I think this is not actually for our camera. I think this is just for base this actor eye viewpoint. Pretty sure that's just what is affecting this. It's not actually affecting the camera. So I actually need to move the camera height shorter. So I guess what we could do is set relative rotation, or set location. We'll just do this for now. 54, 55 will be the default. And then when we're crouched, let's do 30. I would assume we should be able to set this locally. We shouldn't need the server's authority for doing all that. All right. Okay. Make the radius smaller for test purposes. We could maybe fuck around with that. I did make the radius smaller though. Post from 2014. Yeah, I'm pretty sure it's just it's not actually affecting the yeah. Yeah, we're not using a timeline, which ideally it would be better to use a timeline for this. But I'm waiting until we hook up GMC. I made the capsule radius actually smaller. I made it smaller. We could make it smaller when you're in a vent, I guess. Let me let's modify this real quick though. Let's make it so he's gonna look so fucked up. He's gonna look so fucked up. Dude, he looks so sad. Uh-oh. Does crouching not have a check if you're inside of a surface? Really? The collision isn't popping like the camera is. Oh! Shit. Oh, the wonders of things not doing... Oh, great. I'm going to have to do a whole thing for this. I don't. I don't have to do a whole thing for this. There's an on-end crouch, which I believe should be the thing working. Yes! He looks like you mentally 4 hours into debugging that one bug from Super Hire. Dude, I'm so excited to add like more eye movement and shit to this goofy ass character. I'm so excited to fuck around with this stupid character model. It's gonna be so funny. Or maybe I'm not excited. I don't know. We'll see when we start doing multiplayer. This is a different game, Animosity, yeah. That was years ago. It's been years. You don't know? No, we're doing a little something different. I wasn't feeling too confident with the sword game. And so I'm working on whatever monstrosity this is currently. Wait, does he have the landing animation? Or is it still a T-pose? For some reason, the landing animation didn't retarget properly. So let's see. Hold on. Testing. Oh, hey, look. He's got the landing animation. I bet you I'm going to close this project and all those animations are going to be fucking broken. Just like it happened earlier. Fine, whatever. Okay, guess I'll just fall through the map. Yeah, we could enable camera lag on the thing. We could, most definitely. I remember one of the games when I did a crouching system, instead of an immediate crouch, I did like a timeline. I don't know if I'd want to do that for this game, especially considering it's multiplayer. Are there items to consume yet? No. All of the items are just in the basic form of getting them going. So there's like there's a hover event and stuff, but there's no like usable items yet, just yet. I'm kind of shifting a little bit of my focus right now to doing a bit of art. Because I do think that's such a important part. It's going to be interesting doing all this because, like, I'm really not that good of an artist. Like, I can 3D model. It's just, like, getting something fun going and whatnot and then putting it all together. It's, yeah. Okay, I like the idea of event. I'm not gonna lie, I need a sprint. Because like this slow speed, I'm gonna go crazy. Okay, if I fall one more time, if I fall in the hole one more time. If I fall through the hole one more time, I swear. Okay. That's true. I did make it smaller. Oh my god. That's true. I kept changing the radius. What can you create in a weekend Red Bull fueled session? I'm gonna need a lot of coffee. I'm not a Red Bull kind of guy. We should start fucking around with like what would be inside of the trains. Maybe fuck around with windows. Slap some windows in there. We gotta figure out like the form of the train too. I think that'll be really important. Once we start slapping in some ceilings and stuff, we can start really like getting that mechanical feel that we want to kind of get going. I also want, I don't know if this is a British thing. Is this a British thing? Like a train cabin where it's very Harry Potter-esque, where it's like the seats are on the sides. You like enter from like the left. I'm pretty sure Snowpiercer had this as well. You enter from the left or like right side. And then as you walk down, there's like different like doors that you can open and stuff. That's something I'd like to do as well. I've also been thinking it'd be interesting to make these trains like sliding doors that you have to hold. My only concern with that, while I was thinking of that idea, like you like hold the door and you have to slide it open yourself, is replication. One of my concerns with it is the replication aspect of it. But I do think a sliding door that you have to slide open, I think would add to the A, adds to the playability, and B, makes it more fun. The more I think about stealing his idea and developing it slightly faster than him. There is a rare possibility that could happen. You know what I mean? Like, there is a rare possibility that could happen. That's why part of me was thinking of like holding off on working on this project on stream, but then I told myself, ah, fuck it, who cares, whatever. We ballin'. Okay, so the exterior of the train. I think that's something I'd like to figure out. What is the exterior of the train look like? What is the form of the exterior? We can kind of mess around with it, like this one here. Well, I'm just looking at my email. Okay. I was drinking water the last few days and kept getting pounding headaches until I drank a coffee or something caffeinated. Trick your brain by drinking decaf. Drink decaf. That's the trick. Drink decaf. Okay, so the look of the train. I think the ceiling / roof is going to be a big proponent to the style of the train. We could do a curved top train. Another idea was someone brought up having multi-story train cabins. I don't know how that would fucking happen. That could be something we could do. We could have multi-story cabins as well. Little staircase to get to the top or whatever. Yes. Let's fuck around with something that has like windows. So this cabin has no vents. Do I have a chair, like a chair model that I could just quickly? Oh, dude, we should make it so you can crawl underneath the chairs. Oh, dude. Yeah, make it so you can crawl under the chairs. Crawl under the chairs. What would be our height to make it so we can crawl? There's no fucking way you could crawl under the chair. Oh, dude. We'd have to go super tiny on our character model. Like Repo, almost. We'd have to... The motherfucker would be squished. Like a pancake, yeah. I had a hat crawling in my other project. Well... I am going to switch this over to GMC, and I'm pretty sure GMC has an entire setup for switching from crouching to crawling, so... Yeah. So I think it can be done. It can be done, I believe. I'm trying to think of... how this would look. Let me just model a chair real quick. Just model a chair. It's gonna make it look like this reference that I have here. Something a little bit like that. Or something a little bit. Yeah, something like that. Yeah, something like that. The thing is, our characters are a little bit like non-human. Maybe we could say they're non-human in a human world. They're workers put to the task to do things, you know? We could say that they're non-human, so things could be larger than them. You know what I mean? We could go under that premise, for sure. Which I think Repo also does. Because they're like robots, whatever. So honestly, that could be the lore. Is that we're like workers. They're like repo bodies with Schedule 1 faces. So everything could look a little bit larger than us. And I think that honestly is fine, which I should have probably gotten... I should have probably kept our... I should have kept my mannequin in here, actually. I deleted him. Okay, this is probably the height. But you can see, like, yeah, the height is... He's going to have to be on the ground. Like, his tiny toes are going to be like... Like, that's what's going to end up having to happen. All right, whatever. I literally just need a block-out chair. I don't need anything crazy. Hold on. My default project has the mannequin. Okay. I made it a bit too tall. That's fine. I would like to try to, like, not make this too tall if possible. If we can. If we can manage, it'd be cool to make this not too tall. Okay. And then we have the side legs that are honestly, we're just gonna rip this out. Just do something like this. And then do it like that. And then I'm doing this as like dirty as possible. Like, I don't care for how it's gonna look. I just want to get it in. Get a block out version of it in, and then we can kind of go from there. No problem. Okay. I feel like the let's get the the arm thing in. Okay. Really, really block out version of this. Extrude that out. And then probably want to bevel this instead. Okay, and then this could go in between here. And then the rest of this could go here and scale like that. Psycho shit. And we got ourselves a double seater, baby. Maybe we want, hey, maybe we want a little thing for our head real quick. Whip that up real quick. Okay. All right. That is a good basic version, just so we can kind of get an idea of the scale of the space. There's a lot of room in the middle. A lot of room in the middle. Now, of course, when we look at a space like this that has the catwalks on the sides, now that being said, we could also, hear me out, we could actually make these larger than we want to. Because we could say that while our character model looks like this, in reality, maybe the humans are actually this large. Which that means maybe the doors will be larger, right? We don't have like we don't have a ceiling in yet. So while this might seem like our character model's size in the world, we could make other things in the world look slightly larger. Which would also help out with other things in the world and kind of make us look like a slightly smaller kind of character model, I guess. Are the people riding the train? You're like workers for it. Yes, we're like workers basically. We're conductors. So that could be the lore, is that like there are other humans, you know, managing things and whatnot. And we are just workers on the train. Normal. Okay. I don't know if I want to bevel this because it's like it's getting real. It's gonna get real chaotic real quick. But fuck it, slap a bevel in there. There's no cushion. This is the cushion. That's the cushion right there. That do be the cushion. So now with a bit of sizing up, how does it look now? Could also do like a seat in the middle. Very like airplane-esque. See, like that's not bad. We got enough play space for monsters to go through. Like this could be one variation. This could be a variation. We could also do something like this if we wanted to. Right? Could be something we could do if we wanted to. There's enough leg space, and this is a friendly leg space kind of place. we are tall friendly, and then we can do some other stuff if we wanted to, like for example. We could have one of these middle sections be like a bathroom. I know, we could do arrays, but I'm just kind of like, we're just kind of toying around with the thing right now. Let's see what it looks like in the space. Here's the problem. Here's a big problem. We're using complex collision for this. Just for the purposes of testing this. It's gonna get pretty gnarly. Yeah. Yeah. When I export this, it might not bode well with my computer, but yeah. Yeah. Might not bode very well. Why did jumping look like that? Do you guys see that? We need to sprint though. Like the testing is gonna go fucking crazy. Why is this LOD'd? Nanite enabled. Since when, motherfucker? Since when? And why? Why did it... Is it because of the triangle count? It just set itself to nanite? Let me check my other cabins. Nanite enabled. Why did everything suddenly enable nanite on itself? I heckin' hate nanite. What a piece of shit. I literally have nanite disabled in the entire project, and for some reason it just finds itself to re-import with nanite enabled. That's funny. That's really, really funny. Thank you, Unreal. I'm going to change that. Yeah, nanite is disabled, or should be. On the world, did you manage an 11K chair? No. Don't get it twisted. This is 11K of like, I don't know how many chairs. 5 million chairs. Realistically, it's like, I don't know, 300 triangles? How many for one chair? I don't know. Not a crazy amount. 448 triangles. We don't care about triangles here. Triangles, that's fine. Okay. Honestly, the height of the chair, even though it is scaled up, it's not bad. And we can still figure out some sort of crawling state. We could definitely still figure out some sort of crawling state. We could even make the chairs a little bit, like a little bit larger. I could see them becoming a little bit larger. Yeah, they are pretty big. We look like a child. Which was a huge problem with our current, with our previous character model. So honestly, I think this is probably the max we should go for the tree. The chair size. Because we know we're not human, but we also don't want to go too big. I think this is a good size. And I think we should still be able to crawl under it. It's just a basis of making that crawling system. Yeah, kind of grounded, but not. While our characters are non-human in a probably human world, we don't want it to look too, like, out of the ordinary. You know? I don't want it to look too out of the ordinary. Let me go ahead and change his gravity real quick. Gravity scale from 1 to, I think I played around with 1.6 in the other project, and that felt somewhat okay. No, actually, the gravity scale changes dynamically. Whatever, this is fine. Better than the floaty thing that we had earlier. So let's see if we can do a crawling system real quick. I don't know if it's going to work on the server, or I don't know if it's going to work on the client, but let's just do it here. So ongoing. Sure. Sphere trace by channel. Sure. We would need an object above us, but let's see. Will the roof of the train be tall so you can jump? I'm gonna say it is probably gonna be relatively larger. We'll just have to see how it looks and feels from like a look standpoint, right? Okay, so get actor location for the start. The end is going to be this plus 50. Radius is going to be the capsule radius. Let's see if we can just get capsule radius. I guess get scaled capsule radius. And let's go ahead and do a trace. Of course, the client doesn't see it. Should be okay. What does that say? Plus 50? Could probably do plus 30. Okay. So we probably also want to minus this a little bit, otherwise we might hit walls. So let's minus this by 1. We're going to test this out. I don't know if this is going to work. Potato Man looks pretty funny. I think the great thing is trying to make terrifying like monsters and then like hilarious characters, player characters, and then that'll be like a nice it's like yeah, I think it'll do well. I don't know. I think that's a good direction to go for. So, if true, can we set the crouch half height? What was that I saw about crouching? I saw a Boolean. What was that? Maintains base location. Which I think is on by default. Wait, how is this? Okay. What I need to change though is the crouch half height, which don't actually know if I can. Okay. All right. Okay. So 35 by default. We're gonna have to do more checks in the out hit, but let's just do this for now. So let's set to 25 for now. What's our capsule radius? 26. Okay, we're gonna have to do 20. We're gonna have to do 26, which hopefully works. What is our current half height by default? The crouch half height is 35, so we're going 9 smaller. Which we'll see if this works. I don't know. I don't think it's going to work on the client because I'm pretty sure the crouch half height is a server variable. Let me see if I touch a wall. Does it get impacted by the wall? Let me small, normal. Duration 0. Duration 0. Just to see if this is actually doing anything at all. In theory, when we go through the window or the vent, it should become small. Uh-oh. I don't think we're small enough for this. Oh, it's not actually updating the crouched half height. Which kind of sucks because, oh shit. Am I gonna have to change the capsule radius myself? Or the capsule half height? I don't think we can update that value. I don't think we can do that at runtime. We might have to set it manually. Might have to set it manually. Like we could set the capsule half height. The problem is if we set the capsule half height when we crouch and then it shrinks, we're gonna see a little hop because it's gonna shrink it from the center and not from the bottom. And I did see that crouch maintain base location, but the thing is this is when we are crouching. Crouching should keep the base of the capsule in place by lowering the center of the shrunken capsule. If it falls, the base of the capsule moves up and the center stays in place. So maybe while we're crouching that is set to true, and so we should be able to just set the capsule half height how we'd want to. Let's see. Let's find out. So the half height becomes 26 and the default will become the crouched half height. Now, I don't want to spend too much time on this because GMC is going to have an entire system for this. And if I spend too much time on this, it's kind of a waste when we could be working on other things. What's GMC? GMC is I forgot what the G was for, but it's like it's a better, I guess, more advanced movement component, separate from the Epic's character movement component. It allows you to do a bunch of things like change the capsule, like you can make it so it's horizontal instead of vertical. It gives you a lot more control over that kind of stuff. Damn, you cannot fly. Oh, it's Ghost. I forgot it's Ghost. Okay. Am I sponsored by them? No. Hey, look at that. I forgot to hook the print string in there. I think it's making us smaller when we enter the vent. Let's do this as a precaution. Oh, great. We're getting into this bullshit. I've already dealt with this before. Whatever, put that there. No, I'm not sponsored by them. I had to buy it. I did indeed have to buy it. Wait, can you jump and crouch? Did you guys see that? It's not instantaneous for some reason, which is really funny. I think it's doing the blend. Okay, now we can crawl under surfaces. When we stand up, it goes back to the original. I think when we go inside of a vent, I think it's making our height smaller. I'm not too worried about us seeing the bottom of the chair, like whatever. I could, I could change the camera real quick. Which means I actually don't want this to be here. I want it to be in here. Not exactly the best way of doing this, but whatever. Oh, well. Could put a logo or corporate branding on the bottom of the chair. We could definitely play around with stuff like that. I'm totally down. Yeah, there's still a little bit of clipping, but nothing too major. I don't even know what our character looks like. And I don't even know if the client can actually set their values. So I might have to set on server. Yeah, it's rubber banding. Because our height is too tall. Which then begs the question, why not just put the crouch half height to that height at all times? Yeah, this becomes the problem. Oh man, this is really bad because this is on tick and running that on server could be really... I might just leave that up to GMC to do that. Or alternatively, when we crouch, we'll just make it so it's always 26. Like that could always just be the... Let's just do this. Class default. So here's what I'm thinking. The crouch half height on the server side will be 26. On the client side, however, they'll think they're taller than they are. Which I don't know if that'll actually work. Let's see. Is this snakes on a plane kind of game? Snakes on a train kind of game. Looks like he has the Giga Chad chin when crouched. He looks fun. He looks like he has a good time. He looks like he's the guy at the party. Yeah, I'm gonna let GMC handle all of the actual code for this. So this is like, this is fine as a start. Honestly, this is fine as a start. What I am gonna do is I'm gonna make the relative location a little bit smaller. And then should be good. I'm just a little worried about getting all the fucking client prediction shit for this and then wasting our time when we end up changing our entire movement systems. There's really no point. Right, cool. We can crawl under the chairs, which I think is a very cool element. Now, what we would do is some of those chairs would get covered up by like random props and stuff. So it's like you can't go under all of the chairs, right? You know, we'd have some like luggage and shit blocking your way. So that could like fuck you over or something. So you're not off the hook. You ain't off the hook. We're definitely gonna have to do some timeline smoothing for the crouching though. Oof. Definitely gonna have to do some lerps. Not a good time. That could be that's already making me nauseated. Nauseous. Cool though. Okay. Still though, it doesn't really solve our art problem with it, which is getting the overall vibe of the train. I do think we might have made the train too wide. I do think we could probably play with making it maybe a couple units smaller. Because this train both A has vents or air ducts and B has a catwalk. So you can imagine what like the larger ones are going to look like. So I do think we might be able to squeeze them a little bit. I think we can squeeze them a little bit. I think we got some space to play now that we figured out the sizing for the air ducts and stuff. I think we can make it a little tighter. Yeah. Yeah, we've been playing around with the size though. This used to be a lot smaller. So I do think we can keep the length. I'm cool with the length because then, you know, we have a lot of like room to play with. I think we can tighten it though. Because the catwalks I think are like we might want to make the catwalks a little larger. We might want to make the catwalks a bit larger because they're a little, you know. At least the side catwalk here, we could probably make it like a half the size larger, 50% wider. We do want it to be a maintenance thing, so it's like either way, it's like we do want it to be like you're hugging the wall, but maybe not this small, you know? Maybe not this small. I think we're going to want to reduce the movement speed and crouching though to like 200. Can walk off ledge and crouching? Yes. Yeah, let's get that going. Yeah, some carts will have storage areas. Some of them is going to be just storage, like, you know, kind of like an industrial kind of train. We'll definitely mix that in there too. Some of them won't even have any passenger stuff too, which I think will be cool. We could do like crates and shit. I think that'll be fun. Yes. Ugh. Yes, 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 yes. Yeah, I do think we can make this thinner though. Now, how much thinner? So we're at 24 meters by 12 meters. We could probably do 24 meters by 10 meters. It's a whole unit down. Or maybe 24 meters by... by 11 meters. I don't know if I like the half unit though. Let's see what it looks like doing that, and then let's just delete this one side of chairs so it looks a bit more like this. And let's go ahead and I guess let's move everything. Hide the chairs real quick, hide the character models real quick. And then let's go ahead and just move all of this by one unit. And let's see what the play space looks like that. So for one, we're going to want to move all of the chairs. So now it's just 2, 2, 2, 2, 2, which I think is fine, especially considering there's an air duct there. Let's see. Let's just export this bad boy, and then let's see what it feels like with that kind of size. We'll be able to tell from afar which one it is, though, which is nice. All right. Please. Just spawn. Oh, come on. Please tell me there's one up over here, please. Oh, you've got to be... The beauty of random generation. There we go. Okay. Oh yeah. I think this is probably good, I'd say. I think this is pretty good. We still have space to do things like in the middle. We have space to do a bunch of stuff in the other trains. Yeah, I think this is good enough. Because I feel like if it's too wide, like having it being wide gives us more control over what we might want to do in these spaces. Don't get me wrong. But, yeah, I guess we'll have to figure out with some playing with it, some playthroughs with monsters and everything. We'll just have to figure out like what is the what's the right configuration that we want. I feel like this feels good though. This width and length feels pretty good. Are trains ever like this with 2 lanes? I don't know. Our train is, though. Our train is a little different. Because we're not following like realistic proportions or anything like that, so. Well, doing things a little wacky. Okay. What this does mean, though, is we do also have to take into account the size of our monsters. Like what the size of the monsters are. I haven't even come up with like the first concept for a monster. You know what I mean? So we can't have their width be too big. It'd have to be like limited to this, essentially. So we'd have to keep a standard going. What about Bob? Well, Bob's gonna have to look like that. You know, there's gonna have to be the width. Or we can make it so they, I don't know, they don't necessarily have to conform to the play size either. So. Normally no monsters people are really intrigued and thrown off. I think I'm going to follow what Repo did or does for their monster spawns. And it's like the first level. It's like tiered. So they spawn different tier of enemies. And then sometimes they're like deactivated or whatnot. So like we'll probably follow that kind of structure as well for this. Yeah. Lone Berserker. What's this game going to be about? It is a kind of friend sloppy game where you manage... Not manage a train. You have to keep a train going with your friends. And there's there are specific types of passengers on the train. You've got some passengers on the train, one could say. Okay. I think I do like that width. It is pretty, well, it's not that small because there's a catwalk on the side. So this is the size with a catwalk and air ducts on one side. So honestly, like if you can imagine with this kind of size, it's not that bad. I think there's enough play space to do stuff with it. Cool. I think that looks good. Do I have to change any sockets? No, because it's just the width, luckily. Will the front of the train be like the safe area? I'm thinking it'll be kind of safe. I don't know if it'll be safe. I'm thinking, I don't know, maybe. I think so, yes. I don't think monsters would enter the front. But we'll see. We'll see. I don't think monsters would enter the front. Will they stop at stations? Yeah, yeah. So the goal is you have to stop. You have to get to the 5th station is the current design of the game. We could also have like an endless mode. That could always, you know, that could always be something. Because I think Repo, you could just keep going. I watched a video of someone getting to like the 200th stage or whatever. And I'm like, what the fuck? All right. Honestly, this width can work. Does this have catwalks? Yeah, look at that. This has catwalks too. So honestly, this width is good. This is with double catwalks. which is almost like an air duct, and this one is no catwalk. So we're going to find out what this is going to look like. Yeah, like you can imagine this could be like a whole ass storage area. Like this is a pretty good play space, considering like you can crouch and almost the entire space almost looks a little bit larger than what it actually is. Cool. I think this is our, yep. Nice. What's the plan for the train between stations? Stations, I'm thinking, would have like little fun stuff. They would be kind of like chill spots. And then some sort of shop would be really cool. So like while playing, you could find treasure, and instead of throwing it into the furnace to keep the train going, you could keep it for later to like sell and then potentially get like items and whatnot. So that's kind of the idea there. The items could be, I'm thinking could be interesting to also have like train upgrades. So you're like upgrading your train as well, like the front of the train with like better hardware, while also having player tools like flashlights or whatever. So that's an idea, but we'll see. We'll see where things go. We have any other characters that are other colors too? Of course. Yeah, we'll probably like customization where like the colors, you can customize the colors and whatnot. I have a feeling that doing a quick little box unwrap will allow us to see the size of all this stuff. So I kind of just want to do a quick dirty unwrap. It'll also make it so we don't see like crazy ugly stretching, which I think is beneficial. Even though we're not texturing it right now, I think it'd be nice to have some quick UVs. Probably smaller. Okay. Thought I exported something by accident because I had everything selected, but we're good. Red and green too. Yeah, I'd probably put like a little bit of everything. Am I going to add wheels? I will add wheels. And you might be able to see them from the catwalk, so obviously we would have to have them there. I just don't have them in yet. Probably, since we're in like an art pass stage, I probably do want to... Nearly fell. We probably do want to do... yeah, the wheels and whatnot. I feel like you'd probably be able to see them. Yeah, I feel like having textures allows you to have like depth perception a bit better, so I think that'll be good for testing. Even though we are going to add like colors and shit at some point. We are going to do that at some point. We need to figure out our ceilings. We need to figure out the look of the ceiling and the roof of the train. We could do like an angled look, kind of like what we were seeing. I feel like that would look fine. Yes. Yeah, we're not going to do any cutscene stuff. Unless it's like cutscenes going from like you're entering a station or something like that. I don't know. That could be like something we could do. Hey, Koki. What are you deving? Is a train slop game. Any ideas for the art style? My only references right now are like something like Repo, I think would be good. And it seems doable. It's kind of like a low poly-ish kind of style. What's interesting is I think Repo, does Repo use anti-aliasing? They have no anti-aliasing, it looks like. You can disable it and make it crisp. Ah, I see. I see. We got peak over here. I don't know. I think we're going to go for like a low polyish style. I think that makes it accessible. And then the monsters can kind of reflect that style as well. And everything can kind of come together. So kind of stylized. Maybe kind of grungy, realistic-ish grungy. Like I'd be interested in doing like some sort of post-process that looks like this for the lighting. I think that could look kind of neat. Look at RV there yet? RV there yet? Yeah. Why is there a moose on the... Never mind. I have no clue what we're going to do from a style standpoint. It's going to be something... It's going to be quite a bit of discovery, I would say. Quite a bit of discovery. I think I would want to stick with an idea of everything being relatively dark, because that helps with optimization. Lighting is a fucking poopy shit experience. Proximity chat? There is proximity chat. I have to do, in our next test, we have to test it out even further because I had to change a bunch of stuff in it. So I'm curious what the volumes are like. For all I know, I might blow a couple headphones in the next test. I'm going to have to tell everybody to lower their volume just in case. Hey, lower it to 5. Oh, so that's going to be fun. That's going to be an interesting time. Anyways, I'm going to go. Thanks for dropping by. Good stream. Our characters are looking pretty good. We've got a crouch pose, which, you know, very temporary, just so we can throw something in. Got our character, very basic rig version for now, just so we can throw it all together. I think the next big step is getting the trains to at least have some sort of visual aesthetic. Maybe even like really basic thrown together textures. And then I think ideally we get started on, like, I guess flashlights and like actual tools like as soon as possible. Maybe even like a monster design might be a really good idea to get in there too, because it's such an integral part of everything. We do need a monster. Yeah. All right. Cool. Cool. I gotta bring in the other movement component. I gotta throw that in the project. Which honestly should happen probably sooner rather than later. And then, oh yeah, sliding the doors open and shit could be fun too. Yeah. All right. Can I test your next build? I'm doing very like tight-knit testing because a lot of it is just technical. None of it's like fun. I'm keeping any of like the gameplay stuff for later on, and then I'll probably spread out the testing even more to more people. Just because there's not much of a game right now. It's more so like, hey, does the VoIP work? Hey, can you hear me? Hey, can you hear me? Mic peaking. You know what I mean? Like, that's basically like 90% of the tests at the moment. Because there's not much of a video game just yet, so. We're getting there, though. We're getting there. Yeah. Yes. All right. I'll see you guys tomorrow, I think. I think so. Yeah. 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 All right. See you guys then. More to do this week. Hell yeah. All right. Okay. Goodbye. See you later.